Thanks for joining me on Life and Surround. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new Blu-ray audio, this Blu-ray audio of Rumours, the massive 1977 album from Fleetwood Mac. Diamond certified, this album has sold 13 million copies, and just about half this album is comprised of singles that have been heard by most of the Western world. This smash hit album received a 5.1 surround remix back in the early 2000s by original producer and engineer Ken Calais. And now in 2024, it has received a Blu-ray audio release. I'm going to compare the features of both releases and try to help you determine whether you should stick with the original stereo, pick up a copy of the DVD audio or the SACD, which has mostly the same features, or this new Blu-ray audio. If you like what I do and get some value out of this channel, please don't forget to take a moment to like videos, subscribe if you haven't already, ring the notification bell if you haven't already, leave comments. I appreciate all of your support. All right, so Rumours, the new Blu-ray audio. Let's take a look at it. Here it is in its Blu-ray case. Comes with a booklet with some credits and the album's lyrics. The Blu-ray is printed in the style of the LP label, which is a very cool feature. And of course, we see my hype sticker because I usually keep hype stickers. And here we have the DVD-A. I used to have the Super Audio CD, but I evidently sold it. Now, DVD-A is PCM technology and SACD is DSD, and that can make a difference in the way a multi-channel album performs on your system. But a lot of folks choose to convert SACD output to PCM anyhow, so they can use bass management, EQ, and other processing features of their system, which isn't possible with pure DSD. So if you decide that you want to go in for the high-res lossless stereo mix, you can get that either on DVD audio, SACD, or the new Blu-ray. And if you likewise want to go in for Ken Calais' original 5.1 mix, again, you can do that on SACD, DVD audio, or the new Blu-ray. And I don't think you're likely to hear much, if any, difference. A notable difference between the DVD audio and the SACD, however, is that the DVD audio has a really cool commentary track, a making of. It is an instrumental version of the album over which the band discuss the making of the album track to track. And that is also a difference between the DVD audio and the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray does not have that making of version of the album. Now, I have compared the DVD audio and the Blu-ray 5.1 renderings just to see if they're exactly the same. And I can tell you that they are the same mix, they are the same master. Thank you to my friend Dynamic Editor from quadrophonicquad.com for capturing these images for me. The DVD audio gives you the 5.1 in PCM format, and the new Blu-ray gives you the 5.1 in DTS HD Master. Now, I'm not exactly sure if all systems in all situations with all configuration settings, whether PCM and DTS HD Master are always handled the same, but assuming that you have settings that are conducive to the formats being handled the same, you should hear the same experience. Now, I want to note concerning the 5.1 mix of Rumours that there is a phase issue for Go Your Own Way. The center channel and the LFE are out of phase, as far as I know, for all three versions. I'm sure that's true for the DVD audio and the Blu-ray, and I assume it's true for the SACD. I have never heard mention of any special tinkering that was done for the SACD. Now, this doesn't kill the 5.1 listening experience for me, but it does take away a bit of the oomph and the power from Go Your Own Way with respect to the other tracks, and that is a slight sadness in my opinion. All right, so the new Atmos mix, only available on the new Blu-ray audio. Do you need to pick up this new Blu-ray audio for the Atmos mix? In my opinion, you do not. To my ears, in my listening room, the Atmos mix seems like it is panned, like the style of it pays very close homage to the original 5.1. This is a Chris James Atmos mix. I'm not overly familiar with his work to this point, but I will be keeping an eye out for him now. It seems to me like he may have paid heavy homage to the original 5.1, just respecting Ken Caillat's mixing decisions. Certain elements of the mix are expanded nicely up into that heights area. But in my opinion, there's nothing about the Atmos mixing style that is such a draw that I would absolutely have to listen to it over the 5.1. That being said, I find the mastering of the Atmos mix to be nearly unlistenable for me. I love for rock and pop music to be crankable. I love to bring the music up in my room so that the kick drum is thumping and I can just really feel it. It's present all the time, if not always very clearly audibly. I want to be able to feel it at all times. Sometimes based on the denseness of music, a kick can, become a little bit less audibly discernible than at other times, but I really want it to be present. And unfortunately, when I brought the Atmos mix of Rumours up to that volume in my listening room, I really just couldn't handle listening for very long without ear fatigue, without discomfort. So I actually had to drop the volume of this Atmos mix down about 5 to 6 dB from where I usually like to listen. And that took away enough of the power from the bottom end of this mix that I really wasn't quite happy about it. By contrast, I'm able to get thump with the 5.1 mix without hurting my ears, and definitely with the stereo mix. So for crankability, the stereo wins in this case. 5.1 isn't too far off that mark, and the Atmos really just doesn't cut it for me. I find the Atmos mix mastering to be overly bright, and I think that may be the reason why I really can't tolerate it at high volume. And then another note about the kick drum, I would just say that it is punchiest and I think the best defined in the stereo mix, just slightly less so for the 5.1. And then for the Atmos mix, I think it just has a bit more of a diffused sound. And that could be part of the reason why you have to bring the mix up so loud to really get it thumping and to really get it defined. I really had to raise the volume up quite a bit to try to get to that point. And so even with the brightness of the master, perhaps if the kick were mixed a little bit differently, that thump and that presence maybe could have been there at a bit of a lower volume. So all that said, I really don't see myself returning to this Atmos mix. And I'm not sure how often I'll return to the 5.1. I actually listened to it quite a bit back in the early days of my fascination with surround. It was one of the earlier albums that I was able to track down, and I played it a lot. And, I do like it plenty. It is a very cool surround experience. But, I've been there, done that, and there are other albums to pay attention to. But if I do want to get the surround experience, I'm going to be going to the 5.1. And in my opinion, that is just as well done with the new Blu-ray or with the DVD audio or the Super Audio CD. So if you're leaning that way, for instance, maybe your system doesn't process Atmos and you're primarily interested in the 5.1, you may want to consider going with the version that has the best price point available to you. And then also, like I said, the Blu-ray presents the 5.1 in DTS HD master, while the DVD audio does PCM and the SACD does DSD. So you know your system, and not all systems can process every format. So maybe one of the versions is right for you based on what your system can do. And regarding the Atmos mix, you've heard one person's opinion. Perhaps you'll want to track down the Blu-ray to see how the Atmos mix performs in your listening situation, assuming that your system can process Atmos. And then again, regarding the making of track, that's only available on the DVD audio. And I'm actually considering uploading that to this channel. So leave comments and let me know if you would like me to do that. It's actually a 5.1 mix, so I might put it over in my new 5.1 playlist, because if you didn't know, YouTube can play back 5.1. And so I've created a 5.1 playlist, and I'm going to begin putting content over there. But I could also potentially downmix it to stereo, which might make it more accessible for more listeners. So give me your feedback if you'd like to. I'd be happy to upload it if there's enough interest. All right, so SACD, DVD audio, the new Blu-ray audio, which one is right for you? I hope I have given you enough information to make up your own mind about that. Stereo 5.1 or Dolby Atmos. This is an incredible album. The music really speaks for itself, 13 million copies, so I don't need to tell you that. So for me, I think that stereo is going to be my most frequent choice when I want to listen to this album. DVD audio or Blu-ray or even lossless streaming, I'd probably go with lossless streaming just out of convenience for digital options. But moving forward, I think my listening preference is actually most likely to be one of my several copies of the original LP. So thank you for watching. I hope this information has been very helpful for you. Don't forget, if you like what I do, to like these videos, subscribe, ring the notification bell, leave comments, and most importantly, live life in surround.